Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, August the 14th, and we are here to look at the new releases that are being released this week, genre by genre. And today, being Wednesday, we're looking at romance. Quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Wednesday. We will have them tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I sometimes, during nice weather like summer, start a few minutes earlier than that because traffic goes better. And so driving home from work takes less time than it does during the winter. So sometimes up to 15 minutes earlier. So make sure you have the notification bell. Sometimes it works uh, to see when we do start early. So I do them 3 times a week, every Tuesday and Thursday evenings, and then the Saturday afternoons at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and those go for 5 hours. Let us jump into romance, into the love. First up, a new one by Jen DeLuca. This is a new series by her. If you've read her Renaissance Fair ones, which I absolutely love, you might be interested in this. This one isn't quite my jam. I don't know if I'll read it or not, but I do highly recommend her Ren Fair ones. This is called Haunted Ever After. Small Florida coastal towns often find themselves scrambling for the tourism dollars that the Orlando theme parks leave behind. And within the town limits of Boneyard Key, the residents decided long ago to lean into its ghostliness. Nick Royer, owner of the Hallowed Grounds coffee shop, embraces the ghost tourism that keeps the local economy afloat, as well as his spectral roommate. At least he doesn't have to run air conditioning. Cassie Rutherford possibly overreacted to all her friends getting married and having kids by leaving Orlando and buying a flipped historic cottage in Boneyard Key. Though there's something unusual with her new home, her laptop won't charge in any outlets, and the poetry magnets on her fridge definitely didn't read wrong and my house when she put them up. She's charmed by the colorful history surrounding her. Excuse me. And she's catching a certain vibe from the grumpy coffee shop owner whenever he slips her a free slice of banana bread along with her coffee order. Wink, wink, he's into you, coffee, with your banana bread. As Nick takes her on a ghost tour, sharing town gossip that tourists don't get to hear, and they spend nights side by side looking into the former owners of her haunted cottage, their connection solidifies into something very real and enticing. But Cassie's worried she's in too deep with this whole haunted home ownership thing, and Nick's afraid to get too close in case Cassie gets scared away for good. I don't know. I don't know about that one. The Ren Fair one, that's in one of my top maybe 5 romance series, maybe even top 3. Next up, The Breakup Pact. Good morning, Anita. How are you doing? Thank you for popping in. The Breakup Pact by Emma Lord. June and Levi were best friends as teenagers until the day they weren't. Now June is struggling to make rent on her beachside tea shop. Levi is living a New York cliche as a disillusioned hedge fund manager and failed novelist, and they've barely spoken in years. But after they both experience public, humiliating breakups with their exes that spread like wildfire across rabbit rabbit holes and daytime talk shows alike, they accidentally make some juicy gossip of their own. A photo of them together has the internet convinced they're a couple. With so many people rooting for them, they decide to put aside their rocky past and make a pact to fuel the fire. Pretending to date will help June's shop get back on its feet and make Levi's ex realize she made a mistake. All they have to do is convince the world they're in love, one swoon-worthy photo op at a time. 2 viral breakups, 1 fake relationship, 5 sparkling, heart-pounding dates. June and Levi can definitely pull this off without their hearts getting involved, because everyone knows fake dating doesn't come up with real feelings, right? Everybody knows fake dating doesn't work in romance novels. Do you not read them? People in books never read unless they're specifically like librarians, but even then they're not reading. Good things, and I'm okay. Okay for Wednesday. Thank you. Worst in Show by Anna E. Collins. Aspiring fashion designer Cora Lewis should have known better, entering her grandpa's extremely adorable and truly unruly pups in a dog show. What was she thinking? Oh, right, her grandpa is injured, his beloved pet shop is losing the fight against the upscale dog boutique across the street, and his business and home are on the line. She needs that prize money to save the day, and if the only way to win is to train with her strongest adversary, then she'll suck it up and ask for help. Rival store owner Leo Salinger is everything Cora is not: successful, wealthy, and overly ambitious. She would never guess that he is also the kind and witty pen pal she's met on a local message board. But somewhere between teaching pups to heel, fetch, and stay, Cora and Leo are finding a little competition can ignite a serious attraction. Can they stop this sexy spark before all her dreams go to the dogs? Wicked Serve, a brothers rival hockey romance, Beyond the Play, number 4, by Grace Riley. Nikolai. Hockey is my life, and I need to make this last season count. But when I'm forced to transfer to rival school McKee University for my senior year, I risk pissing off the captain, who happens to be the older brother of Isabel Callahan, the gorgeous beam of sunshine I messed around with in secret this summer. Rekindling our fling could risk her brother icing me off the team, not to mention the fact that my scarred past makes having a real relationship impossible. And yet, the moment I see Isabel again, all my wild, burning feelings come rushing back. Izzy, I have two goals for sophomore year: win back my old volleyball position and forget I ever knew devilishly handsome hockey defenseman Nikolai Abny Volkov. As the youngest and only daughter in a family full of athletes, failure isn't an option. But when Nick crashes it back into my life, I can't stay away from his broody charm. I'm determined to guard my heart this time, but between the furtive hookups and the heartfelt conversations, the lines between friends with benefits and more begins to blur. As we fall deeper into a place we can't come back from unscathed, we'll have to make a choice: fight for a future together or watch it go up in flames. That's wicked. The Winged Tiara by Janelle Szylski. November 12th, 1918. It was a match made in champagne-soaked heaven, but all too soon the bubbles dried up, and Esme Fox awakens the morning after celebrating the end of the Great War to find herself shockingly and accidentally married. She gathers her belongings and slips out before her new husband can stop her. After all, she knows it's best to leave before he does. 4 years later, Jasper Truitt, after having made a name for himself in the underground world of jewel thieves, is on the hunt for a valuable heirloom, a one-of-a-kind winged tiara, the last Valkyrie tiara ever created. So it's with great surprise that he discovers it at a charity event atop the head of a woman he's never forgotten, his long-lost wife, who happens to be pursuing the tiara for a vengeful opera diva desperate to obtain the jewel for herself. The reunion is cut short when Esme vanishes again, but their separation is temporary. With a hitman on their heels and a deadline looming, the pair find themselves in an epic game of cat and mouse across Europe, following leads from the French Riviera to a shop of wonders in Venice, a fairy tale castle in Bavaria, and a veritable circus thrown by a champagne heiress, all before a dramatic horseback flight through the French countryside. In the end, only one can win, and with both of their hearts on the line, the winner may well turn out to be the loser. I don't know. How many pages? All in 352 pages. Kind of giving away the plot, but it also kind of pulls you in, maybe. Interesting. Heist is not usually set in the 20s, the 1920s. The Code Breaker Girl. Now we're up to the 1930s. 1930s Poland. After graduating as the First and only woman on her university course, Orphan Beata is set on joining the Polish Cipher Bureau. She's determined to save her country from invasion by cracking the Enigma code, but as the Germans close in, Beata and her team need help. Meeting with British intelligence, Beata passionately describes her work and catches the bright, sparkling eyes of one of the agents, Harry. His excitement about her efforts with Enigma and how vital it is for all their futures make her more determined than ever to do what's right. But these stolen moments might be their last. Any hope of preventing war is dashed as gunfire rings across the rooftops and boots sound on the cobblestones. The Nazis have made it to the city. Beata and Perry must flee. With their duties tearing them in different directions, their only hope is to reunite at the home of British codebreakers Bletchley Park. But carrying the final key to the Enigma code with the Nazis close on her tail, can Beata keep the secret she holds safe and turn the tide of war? And will she ever see Harry again? Inspired by the true story of the brave Polish mathematicians who worked on the Enigma code. Very cool. Going even way back, Tempting the Saxon by Virginie Marcanato, fifth in the Noble Norseman series. 10 years ago, how about if I share the tab? There we go. 10 years ago, Cadman left his hometown to forget the woman he's loved all his life and who married another. Now he's back with no real plan or hope for the future. The only certainty is that he will never trust another woman again. After a traumatic experience with a man from her village, Ingrid is determined to live her life on her own terms. She is struck as soon as she meets the Saxon, however, but nothing is what it seems with the intriguing man, and when she finds herself leaping to his aid, she is mistaken for his lover. After days pretending to be a couple, can they become one in truth? Could he be the one to make her rethink her decision? Did that stuff really happen with the Saxons? Settle the Score by Chris Ripper. Aspiring investigative reporter Des Cleary has dreams of a better world, one more accepting of people like him, when he broke the story of Orion Broderick's relationship, a story that kicked Orion out of the soccer halls of fame and sent him careening into obscurity. Racked with shame, Des abandoned his own career for good. Now working at an LA marketing firm, Des takes a daunting assignment: recruit Orion for a pride campaign aimed to get LGBTQ kids into sports, but this is no shot at redemption. How could Des ever make up for what he's done? Des finds Orion's cabin in the snow-capped mountains. His strategy: keep it professional and get out quick. Nature has other plans. Snowed in together, of course. Des and Orion have a chance to address past wrongs and lost goals. Time and shame have changed them both, but winter has a way of clearing the way for fresh beginnings. Love in Every Bite. Fourth in the Lost Creek, Texas Hill Country series by Alexa Aston. An Army veteran returning to his hometown, a teacher embarking on a new venture, a pitmaster and a baker who form a creative partnership and fall in love. Rye Blackwood left Lost Creek after high school graduation, enlisting in the Army with his best friend. After being stationed on foreign soil for a dozen years, he's ready to return home and begin life as a civilian. Embracing the solace and sense of belonging in Lost Creek, Rye throws himself into his family's barbecue business, a familiar world packed with intoxicating aroma of slow smoked meats and the bustling energy of his loved ones. Little does he know, fate has a sweet surprise waiting for him in the form of a pretty baker. Sorry, itch. Emerson Frost grew up in foster care, winning a full ride to the University of Texas. Now a third grade teacher, she has a side business baking cakes for weddings with heart. Her life turns upside down, however, when the owner of the bakehouse dies, bequeathing the town's beloved bakery to Emerson. Leaving teaching to devote herself to baking full-time, she's finding her feet as a business owner. Emerson is taken with Rye, a charming ladies' man whom she determined to stay away from. Yet Rye is wildly creative, intriguing Emerson with his ideas of fusing Asian cuisine with traditional Texas barbecue, and then inviting her to collaborate with him, merging her baking techniques with his innovative concepts. As they experiment, their creations become popular with the events they cater at Lost Creek Winery. Their passion for food ignites their passion for one another, and love blossoms within amidst heartfelt conversations about their dreams and desires. But Emerson is closed off from her emotions, not one to trust easily. Can Rye win Emerson's heart and teach her to open hers to love? I do like that cover for some reason. Frequent Flyers by Nue Kerwin. Lainey Turner has some loose ends, a nearly complete PhD, a job she basically enjoys, and a lifelong crush that she's almost gotten over. On a trip to reunite with her family in England and said crush Jonah, Lainey intends to take care of one of those items. Her favorite cousin Gemma is engaged to Jonah, and they want Lainey to be both their maid of honor and best mate at the wedding. It's the perfect opportunity to prove the pitying gazes wrong. She's over Jonah, really. As Lainey travels between New York City and London to help with wedding prep, she befriends her handsome seatmate, Dr. Ridley Aronson, a widower and single father who is prickly at first, but feisty Lainey reminds him of a more carefree time in his life. And after a steamy layover in Iceland, the pair take a direct flight from seatmates to lovers. Mile High Club, anybody? Ridley even agrees to be her plus one for the wedding. For once, everything seems to be falling into place. But Lainey is used to getting hurt, and Ridley finds opening up difficult. How will a long distance relationship even work once Lainey's back in New York City permanently? It's easy enough to let one more loose thread unravel. After all, life's problems seem tiny from 35,000 feet in the air. Enemies to lovers. Well, let's just say what the trope is right there, by Laura Jane Williams. Ever since the embarrassing meltdown incident, all capital letters, Flo has been on an enforced break from life, and the timing couldn't be better as her family sets off to Greece for their summer vacation, as families do. Enter Jamie Kramer, literally. Broad, sun kissed, and fitter than ever. Jamie is Flo's brother's best friend and the person she wants to see least in the world. He's also her family's adopted son after he lost his parents at a young age. Flo and Jamie hate each other, except Flo actually has a mortifying crush on Jamie, made infuriatingly stronger after the Christmas incident, all capital letters. And nobody, least of all her family, can know. So, with 2 weeks of steamy outings, rocky boat trips, and sunshine on the horizon, Flo is going to have to fix the situation the only way she can think of, by spending time with him. What could possibly go wrong for the pair of enemies to lovers? Beyond Ivy Walls by Rachel Fordham. I like that cover. Iowa, 1903. Olive Monticello believes Otis Taylor has been away fostering his musical genius. But the truth is that his father exiled him long ago, rejecting Otis's appearance and the scars that came with it. Now that he is the last living Taylor, Otis has covertly returned to settle his family's affairs and rid himself of his past for good. However, he soon discovers that he may not have been the only abandoned Taylor and begins a tireless search for his missing toddler niece. At 23 years old, Sadie West left her family farm and found employment at the Hogue Feather Duster Factory. It isn't a romantic job, but she's hardly had a glimmer of romance since her beau went off to college, leaving her with no promise of a future together. Desperate to save money and help her family make ends meet, she trespasses and finds shelter in an abandoned building and is thrown into the path of the town's mysterious bachelor. Otis's wounds are deep, but as Sadie's friendship with him grows, she begins to fall for the man beneath the mask. Locating his long-lost niece, however, is more difficult than either could have imagined, and Sadie West may be the key to Otis Taylor finally finding his way home. The Fertile Earth by Rivka Rao. Vijaya and Sri are the daughters of the Deshmukhs of Urumi. Hailing from a lineage of ancestral aristocrats, their family's social status and power over villagers on their land is absolute. Krishna and Ranga, brothers, are the sons of a widowed servant in the Deshmukh household. When Vijaya and Krishna meet, they forge an intense bond that is beautiful and dangerous. But after an innocent attempt to hunt down a man eating tiger in the jungle goes wrong, what happens between the two of them is disastrous, the consequences reverberating through their lives into young adulthood. Years later, when violent uprisings rip across the countryside and the Marxist ultra-left Naxalite movement arrives in Urumi, Vijaya and Krishna are forced to navigate the insurmountable differences of land ownership and class warfare in a country that is burning from the inside out, while being irresistibly drawn back to each other, their childhood bond now full of possibilities neither of them are willing to admit. Well, that is an interesting setting. You don't see that part like one in a million. Last one, The Bonus by T.L. Swan. Grace Porter has the perfect job, great pay, and a beautiful office. Everything she ever dreamed of, if not for one small detail. She's utterly and hopelessly in love with her boss. Gabriel Ferrara is tall and handsome, and most days she wants to stab her eyes out with a pencil, anything to stop her seeing his perfection. Good Lord, girl. How any female could work in these conditions and not be completely besotted with him is beyond her. Then he opens his mouth, and she remembers why. He's bossy and sarcastic, with a wit so sharp it can cut glass. Every weekend is the same. While he's off living his dream life, she's counting down the days until Monday when she sees him again. Oh my God, girl. But enough is enough. Grace is tired of organizing his glamorous and exciting life instead of living her own. Determined to find true happiness, she hands in her resignation. Furious, he won't accept it and rages like never before. Desperate to keep her, he offers her a bonus with a capital B, one she never saw coming. Finally, it's Grace's turn to be the boss. Oh, ew, what an icky one to end on. Sorry. All right. The romance we have today, this week. Hope you have a good Wednesday. Again, I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Wednesdays. We do have them tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Usually start a little bit early. Hope you are reading good books. And if you aren't reading a good book, it's okay to set it aside. Reading is fun. It's not an assignment. You can always come back to it later. It's just not the right time for you, the book, or the author to come together. It's okay. So thank you very much for watching. I will be posting this, so if you're not able to wake up early and watch it live, you can watch it later at your own leisure. Tomorrow we'll be looking at fantasy and science fiction being released this week. And have a good day. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day. God bless.